So in this video I wanted to take a close look, or better said a revisiting of where it all started. What do I mean with all started? So this is basically one of the first products they released back in the days. This was not like this plug and play solution. Oh yeah, I got two boxes and this is not a glitch in the AliExpress or YouTube Matrix. No, actually what they did, they were selling these bloody things under different names. How did that happen? Quite simple. So normally when I have ordered the first one, they call it the game or the 4K game stick. But the second one I ordered something, they basically like gave it a completely different name, but just sent me this product. The only difference I could find with these two boxes are really that we do have a different indication. Here it says Game 3001 and this is the game. And I'm just going to be honest, I have no idea which one was first. But what's in the inside? So basically what you're going to get are the chemical PlayStation 2 fake controllers with a dongle. So what they're doing over there, they're using these basic dongles. They are like old school Android box technology. They're just slapping a new label on it and just selling it like a game stick. I already noticed in the main review back in the day, like this thing is very thick and very wide. And the main problem you're going to see like is you go to plug it in your television like that. It will cover, let's say, 2 ports. Or it doesn't fit at all, which are all the older televisions. So that's basically what we're going to get. A stick, a USB dongle, and then we do get the two controllers. Depending on what, better said, like who is selling it. Some are like smelling really chemical, work on 2 AAA batteries. The overall quality, depending again who is selling them. Sometimes you're giving you like the really bad quality, and those have like horrible buttons, a pretty damn too sturdy D-pad, so if you have to play some fighting games or let's say shmups or other thing that needs like the directional, multi-directional from the D-pad, you do have like a lot of issues. So when it comes to adding games, there is an option to pop out the SD card in here and just put it in your PC. So this is 64 gigabyte, you can replace it. I don't know, to be honest, there is no specification that says like what's the maximum amount of memory. I think it will be around 128 gigabyte because they are running like on older like Android things. Most of the time think about Android 4.4, stuff like that. Here do have like the input for the micro USB and then we do have like the input for the controller. A little bit of bummer, like we do have like one dongle for 2 controllers, but you have like a different configuration. You will have a problem, you will need to use a USB hub. Let's take a close look at the controller. And yeah, they're just the basic UCOM, let's say USB controller you're going to get from AliExpress with most of these systems. But what I did notice with this controller, it feels slightly different. It feels, I can say, a little bit better when it comes to the quality, especially the D-pad. I'm very pleased with this D-pad simply because it plays very well and all the moves I do come out instantly. That's something that's not very common with these Chinese, let's say, PlayStation 2 knockoff controllers. And at the back we're finding the battery compartment for the 2 AAA batteries. And in the middle, between the joystick here, you can see that we're having the tiny switch for turning it on and off. Okay, and that happens also too. Beneath the plastic, we are going to find the micro USB cable. And with this cable, we need to give the device some juice. Also, we're going to get the HDMI extender. I'm very pleased to see that they're giving us this because, oh man, it isn't really a nightmare putting this thing in your monitor. So I'm thinking, let's try this game stick with and without, and let's see if I can use it in my television. But alright, first let's try to stick it in my HDMI connection because I don't like the extender. But when I try to put it in, you can see something is in the way. So let's zoom in a little bit and you can see that the piece of plastic of my monitor is in the way, so it doesn't fit in my monitor. So there's a little bit of a bummer in my opinion, so we're going to need this extension. Yep, we're going to need to plug it in like this. Otherwise, there is no way of connecting it. So okay, let's try my television and let's see how that works. But looking at behind my television, you can see it covers the USB and the other HDMI port. So this is not really convenient. Yep, we're going to need the extension. That is something that is just inevitable. So that's what we're going to get inside the box, of course. And not to forget, I'm going to show you the toilet paper manual like I always. Yep, the Chinese toilet paper manual. Okay, so here we have the English part. I must say it gives a very good explanation how it works, how you need to navigate the menu. So give them some kudos for that. Glossy toilet paper for the win. Alright, so it's plugged in my television and I did notice that sometimes it's just stuck on the loading screen. I tried the USB power from the television and an external power. Don't know what it is, but sometimes you just need to reboot it twice for getting it to work. But right, so when it booted up, it looks a little bit similar like a Pandora's box, but it's not exactly like a Pandora box. So to begin with, we're having this left top menu. You can see we're having here category system, history, collection, and the search option. So with the class, you can see all the systems that are supported, like MAME, Famicom, Game Boy, Game Boy Color. There are quite some different versions, and when choosing, let's say, a certain platform, it loads up all the games from the platform that you just chosen. It's very unique, and I'm pleased to see that they used a search engine inside the software, because this is not something that is very common. Even nowadays, not all Pandora box have this, and it's just a nightmare if you're having a shitload of games. You can see there are quite some different Mortal Kombat versions on this dongle, but what I did notice that the names are not always correct, because I tried to boot up some games like Mortal Kombat 1, and at the end I was getting a completely different game. Besides the naming issue, I also found, for example, having 4 the same games, but every time I try to boot up a game, I'm getting the error message. And even if I am finding a game that's called Mortal Kombat 3, and I'm just ending up with the PlayStation version and not the arcade. So also, if you're searching on an arcade game, it's still highly possible that you're not going to get the game that you want. But what I'm pleased about, when you're pressing select and start, you're going to get the quick menu where you can go back to the main menu, disk control, swap controls if needed, and of course we're having a quick load, quick save. And that is pretty cool, because we can save with every game. When loading up, you can see it has a couple of seconds slowdown, but then it works just fine. With the settings, there are not a lot to talk about, just language, key tune settings and all those basic stuff. There is no aspect ratio change. There's not a lot of options here. It's not like in Pandora box with the filters. So what you see is what you're going to get with the settings menu. Next, I just wanted to try a fighting game, also arcade, from Neo Geo, and I noticed that the D-pad works very well. And that is something that is just unique and already mentioned before. And the gameplay, see for yourself. And when it comes to the NES, it runs pretty shitty. It's unbelievable that an 8-bit system doesn't work well on this, or this game at least. So next up, we're going to try some Game Boy Advance, and I can already tell you that it suffers from slowdowns and the sound is not like it should be. Okay, I'm going to show you a quick running example, and you can see that it has a lot of frame dips. But with the Mega Drive, you can see the Street of Rage 2 works very well. I didn't hear any weird stuff going on with the soundtracks, and the sound effects are all here. Okay, so with the Super NES part, it's pretty damn sad. You can hear that it is suffering big time. You can hear that it has having big slowdowns with the music and the gameplay. It's quite interesting that it can run PlayStation 1, but this is also a mixed bag. I did notice some slowdowns and problems. But okay guys, so this is what we're going to get with the 4K game stick. So this thing does have a lot of problems, and even they're selling this as a new product in 2022, and I wouldn't be surprised they're doing the same thing in the next years. It's still the same product with the same, let's say, crappy controllers. I'm not a big fan of those, but especially when you're looking at the specification compatibility with some games, we do have like a lot of issues and we're missing a lot of cool features. But when you're looking at this game stick, for example the 4K Ultra HD, it's a freaking lie. Like, it has nothing to do for 4K output. It has like a very low, let's say, quality output in general. Like, it's just 720p and sometimes 1080p depending on what kind of model you're getting. But when you're looking at the 4K, they should like put something like 4K Ultra HD television supported or something like that. But let me know in the comments what do you think of this. Would be great to see you in the next video, so consider subscribing, hit that little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video.